during the Ramadan period. It's like a period of happiness, it's a period of festivities. At the approach of Ramadan, the first thing is that you have a number of kettles, a number of kettles from Omi Aloala, you see, in the house. You know that we have been asked to bring out, our to spread them in the open, so that is the beginning. And you see our mothers moving to the market to bring in the rice and the foodstuffs in preparation for Ramadan. So we are also always happy.
Hello Lagos, hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Welcome to another exciting edition of our special program, Memorable Moments with Tinka. And it gives me so much pleasure once again to be with my darling daddy Babeko, Lagos Encyclopedia, an elder statesman, an astute politician, an illustrious son of Lagos, son of the soil, and son of the first Muslim to become Oba ever in the history of Lagos. Of course, you know whom I'm talking about. My special guest this moment is none other than Prince Dr. Tajudeen Olusi. O-N, C-O-N, M-O-n, Papa Notigba is our guest on today's outing.
Baba Adini.
I'm Baba Adini. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We want to say Ramadan Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters, wherever it is that you may be. This is one of the holiest months in the history of the world that's talking about Ramadan. I'm sure you understand the essence. What about that month, Ramadan? Ramadan is principally observed by Muslims. And you know that Ramadan is one of the pillars of Islam. In fact, the fourth pillar of Islam, the fifth being visit to holy pilgrimage of Makkah and Medina. Therefore, I'm going to have to start. Sir, how do you describe the religion of Islam? What is Islam to you? And when and how were you introduced to it in your heydays when you were growing up?
Islam was introduced to Lagos, so to say, during the reign of Oba Adele Ajosu, one of the children of the Oba of Lagos, Oba Ologute, who ascended the throne after his father. Well, history had it that there was a day when it was discovered that the number of slaves at the palace gathered together to perform salat prayers. And one of them started to make the call to prayer. And you know, in making the call to prayer, the man has to raise his voice. And to the natives, the voice, the call, resembled that of the sound of the oro. Early in the morning, very early in the morning, like 5 a.m. And so this attracted the attention of the natives, and particularly the war chiefs. And they stormed the palace. They escorted the slaves. And in their own judgment, they condemned them to death, to be immediately executed. But as God will have it, Obadele came out, to take a stroll in the palace, and he saw the slaves who were chained, who were tied, and he asked for their offense, and he asked them, what were you doing? And that they explained to him that we were worshipping the Creator. We were worshipping the Creator. And he said, if these people are worshipping the Creator, why do we have to kill them? He therefore ordered the war chiefs to untie them. He therefore pardoned them and decided to provide, a place for them. And so the slaves were therefore taken to Okwawu, where they were given a portion of land, and they were allowed to pray and practice their religion in the Islamic way. The remnants of those people today are the Nola family and other early Muslims whose descendants are still at that area. And by extension, the Ibrahim family at Mashalashi Jimo are also part of this family. It is the descendants of these early Muslims escorted at Igadungoro who are today, rotating among themselves the chief imamship of Lagos.
Okay, sir. Everybody was talking about, or research showed, Moshalashi Idioluwo. Did that Moshalashi Idioluwo come about before the arrival of the security in the palace, or at about that time, sir?
Moshalashi Idioluwo came about 18 something.
Yes.
If you go there, it is 18 something that it was built. And the ascendant of Islam in Lagos was in the 14th century. You see, in the days of early kings of Lagos.
Okay.
So I think writers have written, and they have proved that before the advent of Danfodio in the north, there had been Muslim, there had been Islam in Lagos.
If you're just joining us, we say welcome. The program you're watching is Memorable Moments with Yinka. As we are celebrating Ramadan, and I say Ramadan Mubarak to everyone, ensure that you live in the spirit of Ramadan by giving and helping the other fellow, because that is the spirit of Ramadan. Now we're talking about advent of Islam, how Islam was, how he spent his formative days as a Muslim boy. So research shows that traditional religion was prominent in the days of old, before Islam at all came around, meaning that traditional religion is symbolic, meaning that those traditionalists were co-opted to practicing Islam with those brand new people that came, that is, people working in the palace for the Oba security guards. What do you have to say
about that? And let me also add that if you go to Sareko, you go to an area called Okiti, and you have a mosque there.
Okay.
That mosque is called King's Mosque.
Okay.
Moshalashi Oba. Okiti was the abode of the family of Oba Adele Ajosu.
Okay.
And so, as at that time, people moved there and established, a mosque. Yeah. So the mosque is still there today. Moshalashi Oba, Moshalashi Okiti, at Isaleko.
Okay, Isaleko.
So for information of those who are interested.
Okay.
To see that as early as that period, we had embraced Islam in Lagos.
So what happened to the traditionalists? What happened to the traditionalists? I knew that some time ago when I had a conversation with you, we were talking about the arrival of Muslims in Lagos, And those people that even had to do awo, Muslims, ulamas, àwọn àfáà tó ń jáwó àti àwọn tó ń ṣe. So how do we talk about that?
I think there is a confusion.
Okay.
Confusion. When you talk awo simply means cult. Awo simply means channeling secrets.
Okay.
So it's not really, awo does not say a religion.
Okay.
In the ancient area, what we call religion to the ancient people is the worship of certain deities.
Okay.
Those who worship Ogun, those who worship Oya, those who worship Obatala, those who worship Okun, Olokun.
Yeah.
So these worships are in different places.
Yes.
In Lagos, the Onirus represent, the worshippers of Okun. And so therefore, if you want to do anything that has to do with that worship, the authority in Lagos will ask you to go to the Oniru. They also have a small section. You have Ojo Olokun at Isaleko, and you have a family, Agbole Olokun. So those are the people who accept Olokun as a deity that they have to worship.
Okay.
So you have different deities. Those who worship Ogumade family, all this they have there. So question of native religion is divided.
Okay.
It's not collective.
Okay.
So one need to explain that.
Okay. When Islam came, when we had traditional religion, there was no school. So I want to believe that when Islam was introduced to Lagos, I think it brought about education, enlightenment, and all of that. Were you exposed to it, sir?
Yes. When you talk of Islamic education, you see, we have to look at history. The colonial masters, brought Christianity, and they also brought education, to Lagos. But the Islamic people also brought their own form of education to Lagos. And in Lagos, you have Islamic leaders who are regarded as advanced, and who establish Arabic schools, in their premises all over Lagos. You see, if you go to Isaleko now, people will talk about Afa Okunu, and they will tell you that they went to Ileke Okunu. If you go to Isaleko now and you go to Idumagbo, people will talk about Shehu. That family, I will remember the name, but it's a family that family that have Shehu of Lagos.
Okay.
So at Idumagbo, and the Islamic school, Ileke was established there, and people go there and learn. They at times, parents will take their children there to live with their farm for a period. You see, if we now move to Idumota, you see, you will have Afa Kelekun, at Idumota. So if you go to Oluwole, you will have Afa Lawal. It has a popular name, So if you go to Agbole Abari, one in Ileke, you see. So all over Lagos, you have Islamic centers, established, where people go there, and even we also remember Agbole at Sangros. That Agbole, that popular Imam family, Agbole Onirakumi. The Onirakumis are part of the early Muslims, You know, their origin is from Kanuri.
Okay.
You know, and they were in Lagos. They went to Epe with the Oba Kosoko.
Okay.
And when they returned, they settled at the Sangros, Abole Oniakun, and have an Arabic school there. So people go there and then learn Arabic, and they also they learn religious studies. And in our own time, you know, in our own time, I want to remember our mama, Alaja Kotun, Tura Kotun, who established an Islamic school for children and all over Lagos, Ilekewu Tura, and during Nobiu, you know, they will move, you know, gather and celebrate Nobiu all over Lagos. So there were Arabic institutions, you know, all over Lagos.
Before Anwar Islam, before Ahmadiyya.
Before Ahmadiyya, all these families had established. Agbole Mary Akumi had been there before, Ansarudin, and a number of Afars, you know, at Isaleko, you know, had been there, you know, all over Lagos, you know. If you go to Italagba, there are a number of Afars there. If you go to Itagara, there are a number of Afars there. You know, they even extended to the mainland of Lagos.
There's an adage which says that educate a girl child. Though you spoke about Mama Kotun now, Mistura Kotun. Educate a girl child, you have automatically educated the entire world. We learned a lot of things about what Islamic religion did to a number of our women, a number of our mamas in those days. Do you remember?
I remember there was a woman who was preaching all over Lagos.
A preacher?
Yes, Aduni. Aduni Oluwole. You know, preaching was regarded as the business of men alone.
Yes.
But that Mabuma broke the tradition of men being preachers alone. Aduni Oluwole. And she will go about, particularly on Principal Street, like Victoria, like Tatunumbu, you know, on the street of Lagos, you know, reciting the Quran, translating it into Yoruba, you know, Aduni Oluwole.
Wow. Well, that you've heard, women power. I'm happy to hear that. That we had the likes of Madam Mistura Kotun, that was going through the nooks and crannies of Lagos for preaching the gospel. So we don't belong to the other room alone. This is interesting. Then Aduni the preacher.
Yeah,
Aduni the preacher. Aduni the preacher. That is fantastic. Meaning that particular adage which says educate a girl child, then you have automatically educated the entire world.
Yeah.
How significant were they then? You know, because I could remember that in those days we were told that.
And don't forget, let me also tell you.
Yes, sir.
In those days in Lagos,
yes, sir,
you had Islamic groups.
Islamic groups.
Àwọn Alalukurani. You know, at one time they were all part of the Central Mosque.
They were part of Central
Mosque. But the Quranic group had an alpha.
Okay.
Who now came with the teaching that Muslims do not have to follow anything except the contents of the Quran.
Okay.
So Al-Qurani, Al-Qurani, Pombele,
not follow.
And they formed a group. They separated from Central Mosque.
Okay.
So on the Al-Qurani, Al-Qurani, Pombele, Al-Qurani, Al-Qurani, Pombele.
And they had their group there.
They had their group. They exist till today. The argument Al-Qurani, Pombele had drowned They were praying separately on Eid, but today they have their group. They will arrange and join, the central mosque to perform as Muslims, as Muslims. But they still have their Lukurani mosque. It's at Itabadino. Àwọn Alukurani Kongole.
In those days, Islam brought about a lot of things, a lot of finesse, panache. Those days, I think, whenever they finish Jumat, all the chiefs usually follow the chief imam, I think, to greet some certain people, including the Oba. As time went by, that just subsided. And then the Islam, this religion, brought a lot of festivities. The second, there's a Ojúde in Ijebu. The other thing that was like Ojúde here in Lagos and all of that. Can you remember that succinctly, sir?
In Lagos, Muslims were enlightened.
Oh, okay.
They had a number of well-known people, business people, traders,
that joined them.
Hear names like Adewale, names like Bakari King, names like Bello and Pepe, names like Ali Balogun, prominent people. And you have various societies, Ẹgbẹ́ Ọmọdé Bámọdé Òkú, Ẹgbẹ́ Ọmọdé Mẹ́jọ, Ẹgbẹ́ Kílà, and they celebrate Islamic festival, Ọdún Kékeré, Ọdún Ńlá, and they will dance all over Lagos. From each, they will dance till they get to Tinubu Square, from Tinubu Square till they get to Idumota at the foot of the Kata Bridge. And they will arrange sittings. They will dress their children. Elderly people will dress. These groups, guys will come. They will dance all over. And I can tell you, the thing now became more raised when my father became the Oba of Lagos. So when he became Oba, he decided to go for Eid. Eid, I think it's 1928. He decided to go for Eid. Some people said, no, Obas don't go. And he argued, he being a Muslim. So that day arrived, and a number of chiefs, a number of prominent people, joined this delegation. People like Baba Karimu Kotun, they were riding horses. A number of Lagosians, for example, the late Chief Obaniko Adama Akeju, put on Lawani.
Okay.
The white cap was under, and then Lawani on top, and people were dancing, people were drumming drum and say Obaniko Ro, Owegele Monfila, Oba Obaje, Obaniko Ro, so people seems like Lawani Modile Monfila, Oba Obaje. So they dance, and the people like Alibarogu, people like they were in the congregation, and they went to eat, to pray, and they returned, back. So they will go by Tatunumbu, taking Bangboshe, and on the return journey they will take Tokumbo and get to Itagarawu, to Itafaji. So this was a regular route, and this continued until when I was born, and when at the age of 5 or so, I joined my father, we going to eat, and I did that with my father annually until the age of 8, when my father died. So I've seen the congregation. I was part of it. Even let me tell you one interesting thing is that their Christian brothers, will also join them. You see, in my father's delegation, they will leave Obandele, where you have Alaromodo, where you have presently where you have workers' mosque. That was the mosque. That was the place where the section of Ramadan Olusi would pray. And when we will leave, I will be in the car with Papa, creeping out. And we will move. You see, once you move, there is a house there on the left. The Baba there is a Christian, but a friend of Olusi will move out with his family. They will receive, they will give them. Then we will also move. When we get to campus, you have Papa George. Papa George, prominent Christian, who is also a friend. The Papa George, Baba Onikere, his house is called Onikere because there are these Kere. Papa will move out with his family and everybody, and they will be giving food, to that is how we will go until we get to Tinubu. There was a year that the Eid day was also a Friday. So we have to stop at the mosque. At that time, the Muslims, they were divided into two. Those on my father's side performed their prayer at Alibalogun mosque, and the central mosque that we call the majority of the Muslims perform, the central mosque. So I joined my father and we moved to that Alibalogun mosque, and Papa stayed there and we performed Jumat prayer before we then moved. All
of this happened because your father was. All of this happened interestingly because your father was actually a committed Muslim.
Yeah,
a committed
Muslim, and he wanted to perform his obligation. As a Muslim.
As a Muslim Oba.
Yeah. You see, the time I am talking about, the Muslim in Lagos will be divided into two. But before my father passed away, don't forget there were two Obas in Lagos at that time. Oba Falulu was the official Oba, the recognized Oba by the government. But those who are supporters of my father still regard him as their own Oba.
So they were answerable to him,
him. And they have their own Muslim community. And they perform their Jumat prayers at Ali Balogun's mosque. It was one commissioner of the colony. I've forgotten his name, but the name is on record, who thought that the Muslim community be aided to resolve their differences. And he wrote a letter to my father that they say he had information that Papa can play a prominent role in resolving, bringing the Muslims together. I once gave the letter, a copy of the letter to Yemisi Koka. He published it in one of his publications. And later it was agreed. The two sides were asked to select delegation, and Papa's side select a number of prominent Muslims in the list. I remember Papa Karimi Kosmu's name was there, and then the name of the Chief Imam Ibrahim, who was at that time, the Imam of the Papa's section. He later became Chief Imam after the reconciliation. Was passed. So they reconciled the Muslims, and they now go back to the central mosque and form one family.
There's this question that I really want to ask. Question on the emancipation of Ansarudeen, Ahmadiyya, Jamaatul, etc. And their influence on education.
Well, you know, as we were progressing,
Yes, sir.
this organization, you know, became, came into the affairs of Lagos. You know, you have had the central mosque as the pioneer
Okay.
of Islam in Lagos.
Okay.
And later, Ahmadiyya came, you know, and some people say, how Ahmadiyya? But you see, they established their organization and they begin to nurse that organization. If you go to maybe Ahmadiyya at Elegbata, maybe they put there that Ahmadiyya was established 1913 or so, something like that. If you go to Alakoro, you will see 1929, the establishment of the Ansaruddin. And don't forget that Ansaruddin was established from the products, the children whose fathers were members of the central mosque form an organization which they call Young Ansaruddin Society. Young Ansaruddin Society. And you see, our area in Lagos, Okeani, you know, was developed by government. And they now allocated part of it for markets. Okay. They allocated part of it for my father. And it was the government now that allocated where you have the Ansaruddin now to the Muslim of Lagos, Central Mosque. It was the Central Mosque who passed that parcel of land to Alakoro, to the Young Ansaruddin Society. So after some time, they removed Young Ansaruddin. Having graduated, it became Ansaruddin Society. And let me also say that the government also gave the Christians portion of that area where you have United African Methodist Church Eleja. So government was fair, gave a portion to the Muslim and gave part to Christians. So that was how a number of these organizations, developed to aid Islam.
Okay. Of course, we cannot say it all, but we cannot wrap today's presentation without talking about Ramadan. We have 5 pillars of Islam. We have faith, we have Salat, we have Zakat, we have Ramadan, and we have visits to Holy Land in Makkah, Medina, if you have the means to do so, which is allowed just once in a lifetime. It's not important that you do it every time. But Ramadan is very, very, very significant. And that is where I'm coming in to our special guest, Prince Dr. Tajudeen Olusi once again. How was your days, in your heydays? How did you spend Ramadan? How was it in Lagos Island when you were still pretty young?
You see, we are brought into Islam and to Ramadan by our parents. For example, during the Ramadan period, it's like a period of happiness, it's a period of festivities. At the approach of Ramadan, the first thing is that you have a number of kettles, a number of kettles from Omi Aloara, you see, in the house. You know that we have been asked to bring out, to spread them in the open, so that is the beginning. And you see our mothers moving to the market to bring in the rice and beans and the foodstuffs in preparation for Ramadan. So we are also always happy. And in our own house, you see, during the Ramadan period, my father, the Kabesi, will come down, sit on the ground floor with all the residents, the drummers, the workers, they all sit and we'll be serving, together.
Okay.
It's a festival period, and people are happy.
And Ulama will come to the house to pray. To
Pardon?
observe Ulama.
Yes, you see, in our own case, the ulama will come from Isaleko. We have the imams who will come from Isaleko for the Asham.
Okay.
And after the Asham, there are a number of prayers. People will give out the money, and it is this period that you will get people singing, moving about during the night to talk, to wake people up. And it is from there, it is there you now have Fuji and all these people who are now promoting music all over Lagos. For example, in my own area, you have one at Oluwole. Maybe I will remember his name. At the back of my house, you have John.
Okay.
You have one at Dumota.
Okay.
You see, we have my Yegbon, Alaji Tali Mumuni at Chisaliko. Alaji Samumuni was a well-educated person. At that point in time, he was Boya his final year at Methodist Gospel School, and he was interested in Fuji. So he had his own supporters, and they would say, "Okay, Ishauluwa Lawanche, so all these musicians, they grow. At Oluwole, you have is it Ajadi Lawa? Maybe Ajadi Lawa is from Okebuko or so. You have one prominent at Oluwole. So that was the promotion of music until we have even people will talk of Fuji and talk of Sekura in the Barista. All these musicians were product of Islamic something. I remember we were promoting this music, and we set up competition base at Isalegongo, where all of them will come. I used to be one of the judges, and we would judge, give them awards, and give them present. So all Barista, Ajadilawa, Ramon, a number of these artists, perform, during this
research even indicated that you were deeply into musical promotion. That Ramadan also promote Olorin Leko. If you want to promote Sikura in the Barrister, is that true?
In my area, we had Amino.
Okay.
Amino Assis at Okeari.
Okay.
Who was even we promoted. And you see, I came across Barrister at Isalegongo. And later there was a time that I organized jump, in my area. And I brought Barrister from Mushi to come and play at the front of our palace. And a number of people will come to promote Barrister. One of the regular promoter is my abro, Animasham, who still there is a Muslim leader. And Jalili Animasham, who is today well known as he was a customer of Barrister, when they will come to Iga Olusi and spray Barrister with a lot of hard currency, a lot of money.
So fantastic.
So
Ramadan
Islam
brings...
was very, very, and we will move all over Lagos, during that period. For example, we moved from Okeani to Okewupo, Baba, Aka.
Okay.
Aka ń ṣe wá sí tó profit ẹ̀gàn sí gbogbo àfáà kéékèèké ẹ wá forí balẹ̀. So we move and listen to their lectures and their teachings.
Beautiful memories.
I remember there was Afa Inonjoroko. Inonjoroko tewe. The man will say tó bá fẹ́ jẹun o ṣe bisimilahi ramoni rahim bó bá fẹ́ jókòó o ṣe bisimilahi ramoni rahim. And there was Atita Balogun Akeokewe. That man was educated.
Okay.
And he will give lectures. He will make reference to the Bible and the Quran. And ó dẹ̀ máa sọ fún wa pé Kristẹni gbọ́dọ̀ kírun, Kristẹni gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe àlùwàlá. Ó máa wá ṣe wákà. A ní ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin aládùúrà kò yé mi tó. Wọ́n lè wí àti egbò ẹ̀yin ò lò. Ẹ bá ṣe kínní ẹwọnú Bíbélì kó lè dájú. Ẹ wo Genesis, àkótú Genesis yẹn. Ó tún lè wá sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin aládùúrà ẹ̀yin kò yé mi tó. Ẹgbẹ́ aládùúrà ẹkú èké àtijọ́ ń fọwọ́ bọ̀ àtẹ̀sẹ̀ ọjọ́ ti pẹ́. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọwọ́ lẹ̀ tẹ̀ ṣe. Ẹwọnú Genesis àkótú chapter yẹn wọ́n ní ká fọwọ́ ká fẹsẹ̀ níbẹ̀. So it was interesting in our time that we had a number of lecturers, a number of advisors, a number of people who were promoting Islam all over Lagos.
We want to appreciate you for coming along with us since we began. And you know that Baba is always reporter's delight anytime he is on board. And then you get to learn and then write books on any of his utterances. It's just fantastic. I've been speaking with Prince Tajudeen Olusi. He's a prominent figure, astute politician, a strong of the soil, a fantastic gentleman, who has the views just not to grow old. So thank you so much for coming on the program. Thank you indeed. Yinka Paramole Shabi, that's my name. Your friend in the box of Meto Pataki. Don't forget to always watch our program. Every Thursday, 2 o'clock on Radio Lagos. Next time when we shall come your way, please ensure that you touch somebody today. Is very, very important. When you help, it has a way of coming back to you. God bless you.